Alrighty, hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. We actually have a lot of stuff to talk about here today. Yesterday was kind of bland. Today is pretty good here. The markets are moving, Bitcoin's moving, Crow is still moving. Some of the tokens like NMR and RLC are falling down, but overall we're seeing some good stuff here, which can give us some hope for tomorrow with PCE data coming in. Now, before we dive into all this stuff, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and if you guys want to, please comment your guys' favorite tokens. I'm always curious to see what you guys are buying because I may add them to my own list as well, because I also like to look at new things and try to make money off of them as well. All right, so hopefully you guys have all had a busy day here today. It's Thursday. It's so close to the weekend. I know we're all looking forward to all that, but there's a little bit of news that we have to talk about first, and then from there we'll really dive straight into technical analysis. And you kind of chill for a little bit here. Loki's behind me a little bit. As you guys might know, I do have a new setup right now. I moved my camera down a little bit lower like I talked about yesterday. My head is a little bit more centered. Loki right here is being a perfect little doggo. Really, really happy little guy right there. I think I don't even know what the heck that is. That's something interesting there. But what do you call, what is that? I don't know what that is. Interesting. All right, well, we'll figure it out later on. But he's having a good day. Loki, you want to say hi? Come here. No, don't get a toy. Just come say hi. He's going to get a toy instead of saying hi, as he normally does. I think my dog has anxiety, and maybe he got anxiety because I have anxiety. But his thing is to bring a toy out, as you guys might imagine. Oh, where's Loki at? Where's Loki at? Where's Loki? Where's Loki? And there you have the donut toy, so he can chew on it while saying hi with his anxious self. All right. Funny enough, he's only anxious in front of the camera, which means I think he understands that he can be seen by other people. But okay, buddy, let's hop right in here. Just a couple CNBC stories. It's only two for today, but they are kind of important. The first one is that Lisa Cook hints at a clerical error to blame for any mortgage application discrepancy. This is interesting. She's not saying it didn't happen. So if she really did commit fraud here, even if it was by accident, the average person would not be allowed to get away with it, right? So whether or not you guys think that Trump is going after her for political reasons, yada, 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 it looks like she may have actually done the fraud. And now it's worth saying, hey, is Donald Trump therefore going to have the power to fire her, put somebody that's more of a conservative bent onto the Fed, thereby making the opportunity, the chance for more rate cuts in the next few months more likely, right? Now, the next person would have to go through the Senate hearing process. That would take some time. But Republicans control the Senate. And they control the Senate until at least, next election cycle. So that's like next January when everybody's sworn in. So it's going to be a while before that happens, right? Not even next January. It's the January after that. So again, a lot of fun stuff happening here. But look at this. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook's lawsuit against Donald Trump challenges his ability to remove her from office, but only briefly addresses the central accusation that she committed mortgage fraud, right? Again, this makes me feel like she did it, but she's trying to figure out if the political system will protect her because the system would be more anti-Trump than pro-law, if that makes sense. And we all kind of make those calculations in the back of our heads, right? Afterwards, they go on to say, one part of the documents filed in the suit suggests that the issue at hand regarding documents Cook submitted for home loans may have been caused by a clerical error on her part, and asserts that even if it was a mistake, even if the mistake was made, it does not rise to an offense that would justify removing her from her office. I actually think it does. I think that these people in politics, especially in the bureaucracy, and when they have these like long appointments, they have to be perfect. And I know it's very hard to be perfect, but if you want to work on the government's dime, I think you guys should be very near clear to being perfect. So I think she should be fired if they can prove she did this. I still haven't seen like the actual proof or the documents and everything like that. I know the FBI is going to say it's an open investigation. We can't share things. But if I were to see that, I would be fine with him firing her. If there is not that piece of evidence, I'd be a little bit more hesitant to do so. But it seems like everybody's kind of like unanimously agreeing that this happened. It's just more, what should the consequences be? Because when people talk about the consequences, well, she should be fired, but her being fired helps Trump, which for a lot of people is not a very good thing. People don't want to help Trump, and I understand it, but you know, it's just the different ways we all think about this type of stuff. And the last little part here I wanted to talk about is Cook maintains that the fraud allegations do not meet the standard and instead are a subterfuge for Trump's efforts to stack the Fed Board of Governors in his favor so that he can get interest rate cuts that he has been demanding, right? Well, at this point, he's already going to get the interest rate cuts in September, but maybe you could say he wants more of them, right? The odds right now are like 80%. We'll go over those in a few minutes, but it's pretty simple, right? Now, as far as the next big piece of news here, guys, this is actually pretty nice overall. The 10-year treasury yields drop as investors look ahead to key inflation gauge. We're not going to go through all this data here today, but basically, we have inflation coming out tomorrow. It's very interesting because everybody is already pricing in that rate cut, which is why you saw the markets kind of boost up last Friday. And although they've been consolidating a little bit with Bitcoin, the stock market's still moving to all-time highs, which leads me to believe that Bitcoin will eventually go to all-time highs. But the downside is, what if PCE is extra hot? Is that going to mean that we have less of an opportunity for a rate cut? Does that mean the Fed's not going to have a rate cut? And if the Fed's not going to have a rate cut, going to be a little bit interesting, right? So, as we go ahead to this with the Fed and what's going on there, at this point in time, before inflation data, we have an 86.2% chance of having a 25 basis point cut next month, September 17th, right? And before that, we have CPI and we have a jobs report. Two big things. This thing will change wildly, I'm sure, if CPI gets very hot all of a sudden or something like that. But we have to keep on watching, which is why it's kind of scary that the market's so volatile right now. Now, next up, this is what PCE's been doing for the past few months, past year, basically. Not really having any big movement. You go to the past 3 years, it's been coming down ultimately. Let me go back over here to the bar chart. It's still been coming down. We haven't seen any big outliers that have caused us to be scared or anything like that. Last month, the consensus was that it was supposed to be 2.5%, and it came in a little bit hot at 2.6. This month, they're expecting it to be 2.6%, and we'll see what it is tomorrow. But there wasn't really any big oh my God type of moments coming from all this. So that's actually pretty good here for this type of inflation. Typically, when you start to see some crazy stuff, you might be a little bit more concerned, but we're not seeing it, right? Last 5 years, last 10 years, nothing crazy going on here. The one thing is at 2.6, preferably you'd want to be back over here around 1.4 and stuff like that. Like back when Trump was in office, it was like 0.68. So really low numbers. They are historically high. We can't go to maximum because they don't pay, but whatever. You guys get the point right there. Now, as far as everything else is concerned, this is where I'm going to switch over the stream here a little bit. Boom, boom, boom. Get rid of some of the other stuff here. Crypto is actually moving quite well today. Pith Network is up 75%. And one of you guys were just asking about that. Crow's up 27. Conflux is up 14, ENA is up 10. So you're seeing some nice moves here. Some things are up a little bit, some things are not up, but generally speaking, we're okay today. Not great, but I would say okay for most altcoins because there's just a few that everybody's really barreling into, you may say, right? Now, this is on the top 100 list. Pith is right there. On the top 200 list, which you guys have, is actually Morpho. Oh, I refreshed. Build On. This one is actually up 17%. Barachain's up 10%. Wormhole's up 5%. Not nearly as good as the top 100 market caps here, which is kind of interesting, but at least you're still seeing some movement. And the last one here, we have, VVS Finance for the top 300 here. EverValue Coin, Camp Network, Space ID. Space ID is something I've been holding for a while. I think I'm down on it still, despite this nice little move we've seen over the past couple weeks. But again, it's a longer game for sure. So we are seeing some nice moves right now. It looks like VVS Finance, Build On, and Pith and Kronos are probably the best things that you can play around with right now with leverage if you guys really want to start making some money. This is why I do the plug, right? If you guys are looking for a new exchange, please check out the links I have down below. They give you some great deals. That's all. Now, as far as our portfolio and everything like that, this is actually pretty interesting. Because we have some Crow, our group portfolio safe is now up 36% since we bought it. I would still say this is an opportunity to scale out if you guys want to do it. Over the last 7 days, it's up 142%, but since we bought it, it's up 278%, which is absolutely enormous. Bitcoin's only up 7%. Ethereum is only up 80%. I say only 80 because Kronos is up 280%, right? SCI is up 70, BNB is up 30, and you can see the rest of them over here with Pepe, Bubble Maps, and Trump still on the losing side here. But Kronos is doing so well that we're up very high. And what's most likely going to happen here is this is going to eventually cool back off and our whole portfolio is going to cool off as well. So I do stress at the height of this, we were up 1,400. That was like a 40% return overall, which means that you should be happy to take your profits off of Crow. I'm just going to keep on saying it. It's whether you guys want to scale out, do whatever you guys want to do. It's worth selling some if you guys have some just to lock in some gains there. I'm not going to do that because I'm holding for the long term here. But on my personal side, I did sell off some Crow today. No, excuse me, not today, yesterday. Really after the stream. And it continued to go higher after I sold about 20-50% of what. it was at close to like 42% or something like that of my crow, right? So it still went higher. Maybe it'll keep on going higher, but I locked in some profit that I have to use for some the website design and stuff like that. And speaking of website design, it's new. I'm going to work it all out with you guys eventually. I'm going to have a bunch of tutorials, educational content on here, reviews on exchanges, reviews on tokens and all that type of stuff, and blockchains, cool stuff, right? But the website is going to be called thecryptomanual.com. It's launching soon. Got to build it out, but it is launching very, very soon, and I'm very excited to kind of put all this together and let you guys know what's going on here. I'll also be selling courses from here and stuff like that. Most of you guys probably won't need to pay for courses because I'm getting back into making tutorial videos. But if you guys do want like a course from beginning to end that really like dives into a bunch of stuff, I'm gonna try to do it with the help of AI, because you guys know my ADHD makes me have problems with that type of stuff. So it's hard for me to really get into work. So with AI kind of like filling in some blanks in my head, it'll be very useful. It's not going to be like a 100% AI course, but I will use AI to like really focus my thoughts, because you know how I can kind of hit tangents. I'm basically going to have it give me scripts for me to read a little bit to not go off on random tangents, because it's a paid course. It should be a little bit more professional than my volatile self, as you may say, right? Okay. Now that we have all that stuff covered over here, back up a little bit. There we go. Bitcoin itself didn't really do anything crazy today. It's up 1%. People are kind of freaking out about it a little bit, but zoom out, it's still a small move. We're still bearish as far as the MACD, so we're not out of the woods yet. Really what we're focusing on right now is we finish up this weekly candle on Sunday. We want to see the MACD still remain green. We'd love to see that. And the way that actually happens is if the inflation data tomorrow is not that bad. We saw that jobs data was pretty good today, or I should say not jobs data. We saw that unemployment data was pretty good today, so that helped out the market. And then on top of all that, you know, we have the inflation. If inflation's good, we could see a pump for Bitcoin, which can get us out of the red, which would give us a little bit more momentum and try to move back up here towards the highs of around, not really 125, the really highs, but like you can see the body of the candles that we haven't really been able to close above, somewhere back up there towards $118,000. It would still be difficult, but that's kind of the goal I would expect you guys to see for the next few days. Because if you were to dive in here a little bit deeper on the daily chart, we're still bearish, right? We are still bearish at this point in time. We're having the moving averages come down, but we're close enough to the moving averages where, again, if we did have some good CPI data, you could see a move like this where Bitcoin goes up a few $1,000s. People think this is like $10,000, something like that. No, Bitcoin moved about $5,000 right there, and that was the move, around 4%. I think Bitcoin could easily do something like that over the next few days if we get that good CPI data going into the weekend here. That would be enough to possibly save it from having that red MACD. I've been interested in kind of watching to see how this plays. We haven't fallen off a cliff yet. So far, we're still bearish as the technicals are concerned, but this is why we were talking so much about this yesterday. The economic news can really help Bitcoin out and get us out of this trudge here, because we have short-term bearishness, but not long-term bearishness or even medium-term bearishness until that MACD is really locked into my brain and that momentum is kind of cemented on the charts. Because then the algorithms start looking at, oh, this is cemented. Oh, shit, what do we got to do now? Let's adjust. Let's take some profits, yada, yada, yada. But don't knock those moving averages. They are getting closer. And if we kind of go sideways for the next few days even, that 20 is still moving down here. That still gives us a great opportunity for a pop. So if you guys want to do some longs, I'm watching for that pretty closely. But I'd like to see non-scary PCE data first before that happens. So you guys might have to stick around by the computer tomorrow if you want to be able to make those trades. All right, now as far as everything else moving today, we're actually looking pretty good here. Ethereum is down today. It's looking like it wants to break down below the 20. Ethereum doesn't always have the biggest moves when crossing moving averages, so I'm not as concerned about it. But you do see it really trying to break down here, which is a little bit more of a concern on Ethereum's chart. Solana is booming today, reaching local highs here. Not all-time highs, but still moving pretty well, I would say, overall. We haven't been this high since, what? Oh, this little thing's blocking my way. There we go. We haven't been this high since about February 3rd. Solana's grinding. That's very good to see. Dogecoin's up a couple percent after breaking down. We're trying to figure out what's going on here. It's breaking through moving averages if you guys care about that. Little too shaky for me. I know we were looking at the weekly chart primarily, but still a little too shaky for me right now. I don't feel like I need to buy any more of this. I already have plenty of Dogecoin, as you guys already know. Trump token still flat. Melania token still flat. really, there's a lot of stuff that's not moving right now, and that's fine. But I will draw your attention to the Bitcoin dominance, which has moved up a little bit this week. But today it's actually down just slightly because we're having a lot of money pump into some of those tokens that have really just been crushing it. I don't know what else to say about these tokens. They've been absolutely insane. And let me find the first one here. There you go, Crow. I told you guys I was going to sell after the stream yesterday, and that's basically what I did. I ended the stream around, like 5:30 or something like that. I got to put this down lower. There we go. Right over here. And what happened right after I sold? Again, it was only like 40%. But what happened right after I sold? And it crashed all the way back down to where I sold. And now it's rallying up again a little bit. I'll probably sell off another 20% after the stream is over. Again, I know I lost out on a potential extra 25%, but I when you're seeing something boom like this, you can see how, like, again, this thing did fall within 5 hours, fell 27%. I need to lock in some profits on this particular play. The other ones that we were watching, RLC, those have come down a lot. So, like, while Crow is still booming, RLC has come back down. And the other one that we were talking about, NMR, has also started to come back down as well here. So I'm happy I was able to sell some of those too. But yeah, I mean, the volatility on these things is absolutely insane. I'm surprised NMR even broke out and kept on going. This was an astonishment here. What we'd like to see from NMR is, can it just hold above the 200 weekly moving average, because that can give us a little bit of support. Maybe not enough to like save us if Bitcoin goes down or something like that, but enough support to kind of keep the rally going over the next few days if Bitcoin does manage to have some good PCE data, which would be absolutely fantastic. Excuse me, yapping so much I'm starting to burp again. All right. Yeah, but those are some of the tokens I wanted to talk about today. I'd really be looking at day trading those tokens, though, not really necessarily swing trading. I might even hold those just for up to 12 hours, because the volatility actually makes you some really good money, depending on what token you guys are looking at. Let me go back over here to the first one. Crow. Right? You play that momentum game. Let's say you short right here or something like that. You can get 16%, I guess, like up to 27%. But if you look at what's happening, you can't be in there too long, because the 4-hour chart's still bullish, the daily chart's still bullish, and the weekly chart's still bullish. So if you guys were to short that, you got to be much more careful. But if you want to long, it doesn't really take too much to long in these circumstances. The 4 hour is good, right? And so what you got to do is you got to go over here and say, let me go back over here to the 4. Everything's still good on the 4 hour. Okay, fine. Let's go over here to the 1 hour. You see, okay, this is booming right here, right? Everything is good for a little lift. You see it moving up. Go to the 5-minute chart. Find your change of character, which doesn't appear to be on right now. It's a little bit small for you guys to read. Green change of character there with the 4 hours saying good. You can open up a trade right here and start to let it fly right after. It just depends on how long you want to hold. Obviously, people like me, I'm not holding to here or here. I'm playing those little Fibonacci games where I'm just like, where can I go? And in this circumstance, it would probably be... This one's a little bit more difficult. Well, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but you get the point. You can make some good moves flying up. In this circumstance, oh, there it is. You pop that to here. Right? Oh, actually, you probably would have waited right there. Yeah, it matched up actually really, really nicely for that trade. Oh, man, I wish I was trading that. Oh, God, that'd have been great. All right, but yeah, you guys get the point here. So if you guys have any questions, whatever, let me know. I got some plans coming out. I got some stuff coming out over the next few days. Most of it's just going to be tutorials and things like that. But the first tutorial drops Saturday. It will be a Smart Money Concepts one. And then after that, I think next week I'll also do a Smart Money Concepts just using different platforms, because I know people pay for different things. So they get the free versions of different things. What I want to do is get the out of that. Order blocks I don't really want any of that stuff. All I really want is honestly just the Smart Money Concepts. That's basically it. But I want them to be... We can do swing, we can do all as well. Oh, you can't change the size right now, which is interesting. Oh, there we go. Normal. normal. And yeah, we're good for that. There we go. Perfect. All right. But yeah, that's just spiel for today. Hopefully you guys have all had a pretty good day. And hey, QVC, Viller, happy to see both of you guys. GOP, why is Pith going crazy? I do not know. Right now, actually, I have no idea. I would just go over. Normally, in these circumstances, I go to the experts on X, and you're talking about Pith. I don't know, PYTH. The U.S. Department of Commerce has selected Pith Network to verify and distribute economic data on chain. Government contracts, baby. Government contracts. This is why all the owners and stuff go to the conferences with the politicians. Crazy stuff. And they're going to give some donations to politicians for all that help right here. Yep, Solana-based Pith skyrockets 70% after being chosen by the U.S. government to distribute economic data on chain. Really great contract. I mean, absolutely fantastic right there. Hey, Gigi Hunter. Love the content. Thoughts on Pith. Will it continue to pump short term? Looking like a dump. For this one, it's probably not going to be as great as a move as some of the other stuff we've been looking at here, but it's still having a pretty nice move overall. What's interesting about this one, if you zoom out, meant to go to the daily one, not the 4 hour. It's smack dab against an old level of resistance here, but when I was thinking about this earlier, if I wanted to try to trade in here, I was using this more as an order block type of level, and we're kind of just hitting that level right now. So I'm more of the alignment where I wouldn't go chasing it right now. I would definitely consider just taking some profit. Not all of it, because I think it could possibly break out and go higher. Because right now there just seems to be a mad rush of everybody looking for tokens to buy. And if there's only a few of them, people can really rush in there. But I would say the lucky people that were holding this for a minute, they're cashing out right now, and they're cashing out quite a bit. And people are still trying to buy it to see if it'll go higher. But man, that's such a risk. I probably wouldn't take it. If you're talking about shorting, I would probably wait until the 4 hour chart starts to look a little bit more bearish, and then you should be fine. You know, I always say kind of pay attention to Dogecoin when Dogecoin would spike, you know, back in the day and have these really crazy moves like this, you know. If you wait till the 4 hour turns bearish, which happened to be right over here, it opens up the door for you to say, hey, now let me start to look for opportunities to short. Where can I do this at? And then, you know, you kind of just wait it out and see. And then, of course, generally speaking, it does start to move down more and more and more and more and more, because once that 4 hour comes back down, right, we can go back up to 4, but by then the daily chart's starting to shift as well, which can really drive people nuts, right? Right. Eventually causes the daily to shift, and once the daily starts shifting, there's no coming back. So you may say, oh yeah, I can start shorting over here, but you have to have that, oh yeah, if you short right here, it may go back up higher, whatever. But that, general speaking, it really does start to impact things for those swing traders out there. So if you wanted to make it a little bit higher risk, but get in maybe a little bit earlier, maybe just look at the 2 hour or the 3 hour charts and see if when they're getting bearish, you might want to get back in there. But you know, I was looking at Crow with this same type of strategy here, and you know, Crow just now started to turn red on the 2 hour, still green on the 4 hour here. So I'm not shorting or doing anything like that. The one I shorted the other day was NMR. Right, but even on that one, you know, the 4 hour was still green here, so it wasn't something long. It was something I moved my stop loss, and I still made some money. Go back over here to the 2. It's bearish, not there yet, but it's going. So you're gonna see people try to hop in here and get lucky, but have a stop loss way up here, way up here. But they're hoping that it comes back down like pre-12, pre-13, like way back down here to $10 over the next couple days. 5-6 days, in which case they can make a lot of money off of it. It's definitely looking to hold for a little bit longer period of time, but I mean, you know, it's not terrible. Happens a lot. How often do we keep on seeing day to day to day, excuse me, week over week climbs? We don't really see them too often, which is why, you know, again, like, didn't see a lot of people short the crap out of these things. And hey, productivity. Oh, trust me, dude, I know. My fart coin is down. I bought it with you guys. It is down 26%, right? Now I'm still holding it. I only put a couple $100 into it, or a few $100 into it. It looks like, no, I put like 400, $500 into this shit. But I'm hoping it goes parabolic down the road. Luckily for me, I have this other trade working out fine with the portfolio safe. And the high risk one is down a little bit as well. Not really doing anything. This one has been so lackluster. But if you look at it, you know, we went from $700 up to $900, back down to $683, and now we're kind of sitting at 715. So this thing has been all over the place, but it hasn't fallen off a cliff like just owning one token has. So hopefully you have some diversification in there and whatnot. Have I compared my channel views to Bitcoin? No, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately, because I also talk about the stock market and things like that. And it's people really just learning how to trade is generally what I'm looking at. Most of my views don't come from you guys necessarily looking about crypto stuff. Most of my views come from how to trade smart money concepts, how to do how to use TradingView and things like that. Way more people watch those tutorials and watch my streams or my shorts or anything like that. But I mean, that's why I'm doubling down into that type of content again. And I'm just going to start remaking some stuff, make some fresh stuff, do some strategies that I think you guys are going to like. I'm going to be doing posts and videos for you guys where I ask you guys, hey, is there a strategy video that you have seen online and you want me to try to cover it and backtest it to see if it works? And I will do a stream on that, backtesting so-and-so strategy, right? For stocks or crypto, whatever, so it'll be a lot of fun stuff there. That last part will be a little bit more difficult for me to do, but I'm trying to work it in there. But ultimately speaking, that's where all my views come from. So I gotta get back to that as the core of the channel. And that's why, thanks Lisa for the compliment on the name. I like it too. That's why I made the website, because I'm going to have a lot more informational content there. It's going to be a funnel, because eventually I want to have a newsletter out there. I want to be able to say, hey, here are the best exchanges, but everything written out. Here are the best tokens I think people should be buying. Why? Maybe I'll come up with 5 or 6 portfolios for 2026 to buy and hold stuff in, and it'll be low risk to high risk, just pick your flavor type of stuff. I have a lot of ideas, and then there's going to be a blog. So anytime there's a story from CNBC or Bloomberg or something like that, I'm going to type up a story and put it up there every day, and I'll see how that goes. My goal is to get it ranked up on search so I get some clicks. I may put ads on it from Google on there. I'm not entirely sure. It really would have to get to enough people using it first for me to be like, okay, now I can add a couple ads. Maybe it'll generate a couple $100 a month. And with that couple $100 a month, I can do more stuff with the website, do more stuff for the channel, for the YouTube business and whatnot. But yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about it here. I got a friend helping me, so I'm very excited for it. And this guy's a wizard when it comes to websites, AI, and all that type of stuff. So just really thankful that he's here to help me out. And hey, Mo, happy to see you guys. Hey, Vicky, just talked about Bitcoin. It's looking okay right now. It still needs some work, but that's where the PCE comes tomorrow. Looking to take profits? Oh, yeah. You don't have to take all the profits. You might move your stop loss up a little bit, but it depends if you have a leverage trade or not. Not all spot accounts let you do stop losses, right? I sold Crow yesterday. It was, I was happy to sell it, but it went higher. So I sold almost half of my Crow yesterday. I'm going to sell another half of what I have left today. It's just moving so fast. I'm I got to take advantage of it and lock in those profits, because I've been holding Crow for freaking a long time. And now I'm profitable. I better suck that money back in, right? And hey, so what do you call it? Let me see over here to Sheeb. You're saying golden cross on Sheeb. I'm guessing you're talking about the daily chart here. Let's see. Let's check the weekly chart. No golden cross there. Still bearish on that type of stuff. Momentum is bullish, though. That's good to see. Bearish momentum on the weekly. A monthly, excuse me. Oh. Yeah, so for Sheeb right now, you may actually see this have a crossover down the road here. Probably it looks like October, November type of stuff. But it looks like if that is the case, this would be the bottom right now for Sheeb, which opens up a few doors for nice moves. When we've broken above the monthly moving averages, it'd still have been very nice moves overall, even if you are breaking down below them. So you could see later on this month, we'd actually have a big spike. There would be some resistance levels, as you might imagine, across the board here, right around 1866. But if we were to kind of zoom in a little bit more on this on the daily chart and kind of go to that golden cross you were talking about, the 50 is crossing above. Let me just get rid of all that. The 50 is crossing above the 200. I think it's enough for a smaller spike, but not anything particularly major. So I think it might be able to get back up here to 1767. I'd be surprised if it was able to get higher unless there's a catalyst that kind of pops it off tomorrow. The momentum on this sucker is still bearish. So that is something interesting, but it's been kind of bearish for a minute. Look how choppy all this has been over and over again. And I wonder if that's because the weekly chart's still doing okay, but the monthly chart is the bearish aspect right now. What's been keeping me bullish about Bitcoin is that the monthly charts have been so bullish. So if you've been looking at the way we've been kind of having these lower lows and lower highs, typically what you could do is, well, you know what I like to do? I like to put the lines there. There you go. And then I like to look for that halfway point. And I'm saying to myself, okay, well, let's see right now, there's halfway point right there. Halfway is right here. You know, you're close enough to the halfway point where if you want to buy, you can, and hope for something to kind of pop up. Your stop loss isn't going to be crazy. Your stop loss would just be right here at the 1163, which would be looking for a 8% stop loss for the opportunity to make 16%. I mean, that ratio is okay. It's not great, but perhaps because the weekly chart could turn around, I mean, the daily chart could turn around here pretty soon, you could have enough to break out and then start going up a little bit higher, especially because you do have, that's the lowest one. Yeah, you could probably just do an easy Fibonacci level right here, actually, at the same time. Yeah, resistance, yeah. Probably aim for the max of 1830, but I'd say more likely going to have a majority of it sold off right over here between 1546 and 1668, which wouldn't be too bad. But be careful with that momentum, though, because it's just not as good as some of the other plays out there that we've been looking at. But again, you know, last time Sheeb had this run up over here. I mean, let me just take a little circle of it over here. Right? There was some choppiness with the MACDs and stuff like that. That's fine. Right? It was right as we went from bearish to bullish here. Sure, we missed the initial run up, right? But if you were still to hold when that MACD kind of switched over, like the same thing over here, you hold when that MACD switched over, generally speaking, you're looking okay. And the stochastic was low. Let me see. We had an instant over here where it's choppy for a second. That might have been a mistake right there. But more times than not, it seems like it's working out in your favor. And it was the monthly chart. The monthly chart was also green, although it, you know, that was kind of funky because, you know, it takes so many months before we get this data coming in. But yeah, I mean, I think you're in the start of something great. I'd still be holding. I would actually probably just buy more spot. If you want to do leverage, you can, but that's going to be eating away at the fees a little bit. But I still think it's actually pretty much worth it here. I doubt you're going to go back to the lows that we've seen over the past few months with Sheeb. You're probably just going to be looking to go higher over time. Yep, choppiness, but higher over time. There we go. As Bitcoin's trying to boom up a little bit more. We were up a lot more. We were above $113,000, so that wasn't bad at all. If Crow hits 50 cents, you're selling everything? I mean, like, you know, hold on. What's the highest it got today was 38.896. It's getting there. You know, especially if the Trump organization thing, the World Liberty Financial, is buying up bucket loads of it. They're probably buying and buying and buying and buying. Once they stop buying, that thing is going to fall like a rock, but who cares? Crow is something for the long term, of course, because it is an actual exchange, and the Trump administration may clamp down on all the exchanges that we use for leverage and just say no leverage trading. You got to go with the boring Crow, boring Coinbase and stuff like that. Although I think Coinbase has leverage trading now. Not nearly as good as other platforms, but it's there. So could be interesting, you may say, right? But okie dokie, let me back up a little bit here. I want to go over to the 2-hour chart with Bitcoin. Let's 2-hour chart with Crow bounced right off the 20. Because, well, let's not even go to 2-hour chart. You can see over the last few days, Bitcoin's obviously been going down, but compare that to gold. Gold's been flat. Dow Jones has been going higher. NASDAQ's sideways, but generally higher, right? And the SPY's been going higher here, actually making all-time highs again today. Russell making big moves, not all-time highs, but booming up a storm right now. I think Bitcoin will follow, but just like how we talked about the Russell 2000 and Ethereum, Russell 2000 is going high. I would expect to see Ethereum and altcoins still making some good moves, just like how we were talking about Solana. It's more volatile, but you can still see the pattern in here. Ethereum a little bit different, but still you can see that pattern of breaking out, making those moves, being happy. You know, I'm pretty excited about it. You sold some at 40 cents. You'll get back in when it drops. Hey, eventually it is going to drop, and you better be able to make, you better be able to say you made a profit off of that sucker. Imagine buying it like last week and not making any profit a little bit later. Right? That'd be freaking horrible. What else has been moving a little bit today? Moodang is up a few percent. This really hasn't been doing all too much at all. It's still in that halfway buying zone. Turbo's up 3%. Not much there. RLC's down 21%. Look at that. I'm just plummeting back down to earth. NMR is plummeting back down. Not nearly as bad, but it's coming down. FA is down 5%. Somebody tried to get this thing to start pumping, but they weren't able. They weren't successful with it. Injective is up 5. ID token is up 15. So there's some plays out here for AI tokens and things like that, which is interesting. Low market cap AI tokens. GTC, that's up 7%. Little bit of sympathy coming out right here. Arbitrum was only up 3%. That's okay. We got Milady up 4, and that's about it for the big movers besides Solana, which is pumping up a little bit right now. So we're seeing some good stuff, guys. I think we're seeing some really solid things. It's just that, you know, despite these moves, Bitcoin can easily go back down. And at this moment in time, Bitcoin is still kind of bearish. But my hope is that the good PCE data and the good stock market will allow Bitcoin to say, hey, let's break out sometime Friday afternoon to Saturday. Let's have a big move to the upside. Reclaim 117,000, 118,000, and then we'll see what happens next. It'll probably get very choppy, but I'm still pretty optimistic here. But I wish Bitcoin wasn't bearish in this sense, because I would love to see these tokens really start to keep on popping, because you might start to see cycles of tokens really blowing up if there's a consistent Bitcoin doing nothing to like not cause anybody pain or agony or drama or whatever. You could see a lot more money flowing into altcoins. Be like, okay, Bitcoin's doing nothing. This is the opportunity to pump this shit up, pump this shit up, pump this shit up, where they're not risking so much money. As far as those guys like to manipulate the markets and just like buy a bunch of a token, because they buy up a lot, all of a sudden, boom, everybody starts to chase once it hits the algos. It could be crazy. All right, but if that's it, I don't see any more comments or questions. I will end the stream right here. Tomorrow I'll be streaming for a little bit. I know it's Friday. I didn't stream last Friday, like I said I was going to try to, but I'm going to try to do it. It'll be more midday. It'll be midday. It won't be in the afternoon because my sister's coming back into town. My friend has a comedy show, and then I'm going to a barbecue. So my Friday's pretty much packed. But what I'm going to do, and I got to work on the website stuff. So I'll try to do that. Maybe I'll just make a long video or something like that. But what I think I'm going to do here as well is I'm going to be doing, I'm going to try to do these daily technical analysis videos for you guys, where I do Bitcoin and maybe 2 or 3 other tokens. And I'm going to see if I can make them anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. And I'll just do this as a test run here later on this week. And I'm going to see if Bitcoin really pushes, YouTube pushes those out more than the 5-minute videos, because I think YouTube likes those longer contents. So I'm going to see how that works out. And it'll almost be like a mini introduction into the stream that's going to be happening at 4 o'clock, if you will, right? And then, right? Expect the first tutorial to come out Saturday or Sunday. It may come out Monday, but I just really have to go into the data of my channel and see what's the best day to post. I want to post Saturday, but I don't know if that's what the algorithm is saying. It's the best time to be posting. So we'll see how that goes. BBQ video? No, because I'm with my friends and they don't want to be pictured and stuff like that. Plus I start drinking and smoking cigars, and I can make very inappropriate jokes. So we'll see you guys a little bit later. Thanks, and guys, enjoy your weekend here. I'll try to make it tomorrow, but if Bitcoin's crashing, I'll hop on live. But